Hi, my name's Sarah. It's February 1st, and this is day 31 of my taper from lorazepam or attivan. I'm not sure at this point if I'm going to share this with anyone. I'm making it with the thought that I may do in a few months, depending on how it goes. But the reason I am wanting to share is because tapering from benzos is really scary. And I found myself scrolling YouTube trying to find some hope for people that have succeeded and tips, ideas that it may not be as painful as I'm fearing it will be or has been. I'll go into that in a second. And I couldn't find anything very hopeful. There was suggestions that, I take a year doing it, going down very gradually, starting 25% reduction. So for me, I started January 1st at 12 milligrams of Ativan, and now I'm at 1.5 as of day before yesterday. So I just thought I would check in. I'm pretty anxious, but I wanted to report on my symptoms so far, and I wanted to express that it's not as bad as I had feared. I initially got on Ativan. Actually, that's not true. I initially got on Xanax when I was 16 for panic attacks and pretty debilitating social anxiety. I developed a vocal speech disorder from this trauma, a rare condition called spasmodic dysphonia, which strangles the vocal cords. So I spent about 6 years barely being able to speak. Anxiety would exacerbate the symptoms. So, benzos were my crutch, and it just got worse over the years. Like anything, the tolerance built and it stopped working. So, I found myself taking an extremely high dose, which even then wasn't really managing my anxiety all that well. I'm also taking an antidepressant called venlafaxine. I've tried about 6. I've also tried some other therapies that have been helpful. I can go into those later. What I'm finding right now with my taper, things that have helped. I'm keeping my life increasingly simple and streamlined. I've never been a very tidy person, but I'm staying very organized and very structured with my daily routine. Okay, so let me get into it here. I get up around 5 a.m. and that's not something I'm necessarily suggesting to anyone, but for me, I find mornings are a less anxious time for some reason. I think it's because my body has been resting, I've been steadily breathing, and then as I go through my day, it tends to kind of ramp up around the afternoon and then get pretty bad in the evening. At the moment, I'm taking 0.5 milligrams at 6 a.m. and then I'm taking my second dose of 0.5 around 11 or 12. I try to stretch it out every day as long as I can, which is a suggestion I have. Just experiment and just be brave. I'm saying this to myself also as I'm recording this, as this is doubling as my journal for this process and just in general. So I'm going to be editing out very personal things. So you might find it a little choppy with cuts, and I do apologize for that. Just wanted to share things that could be beneficial and give some hope to people that are, you know, ready to try something different. So let me go back to what my life had become like over the past, I would say, 5 years. After, 23, 24 years, I would say, of benzo use. I was very, very sedentary. And that's not to say I was pleasantly sedated like I would have hoped. I was just tired all the time. And I still am trying to rebuild that. Anxiety is just, it's such a taxing condition. You're always in fight or flight mode. The amygdala is going crazy and sending out all those fight or flight, hormones and chemicals. I'm not sure exactly how it works. I just know I pretty much most of the time feel like unsafe, unsettled, that something bad's going to happen, fear of people and being judged. So, that for me, social anxiety looks like I'll have an interaction with someone and it may be perfectly pleasant. We leave the interaction feeling good. And then later I am reliving it and just ruminating on it as I isolate myself. That I shouldn't have said this one minute thing, or even to the point of, I think my gesture may have made them think I was anxious or think I'm a bad person or that I don't like them. I mean, it really could be anything, just depending on the day and who I'm interacting with. But it is not a pleasant way to live. And benzos dampen that, but they didn't eliminate it. And I was tired all the time. I didn't even realize how foggy my brain had become until now, as I'm detoxing. I'm calling it my benzo brain. I have a lot of trouble finding words and connecting my thoughts together, as you can probably tell from this journal. So bear with me as I try to communicate here. When you have benzo brain, before you start to taper, I think maybe it's common not to realize that your reflexes and thoughts are slowed down. And then as you're kind of emerging through, getting a little more clarity, you start to realize, oh my gosh, what's going on here? But at the same time, it's exciting, and that's something I really want to express, is that it's not all misery. It is sort of thrilling to start to rediscover excitement and emotions that were also positive, that were diluted through taking substances. For me, I was also using alcohol at times, irresponsibly, with benzos, which makes it, just, it's a terrible thing to do. It's dangerous. And it made the issue even worse. So I'm also abstaining from alcohol at this point. So the good parts are curiosity starts to come back. I didn't realize how many questions I have. So instead of maybe just isolating in my room, watching Netflix or what have you, I'm still doing that. But I'm also just looking up any question that comes to my mind about, I don't know, geography, history, art, studying language again on Duolingo, things that I had really just stopped doing since I was a teenager for the most part. And that's exciting. Also, my reflexes are getting better. I'm getting more active, so I'm doing things like badminton, jogging, not too successfully, but it feels good. And exercise is another thing that's really helped me thus far on day 31 of my possibly one of the biggest challenges that I've ever taken on. Yoga has been big. Any kind of mindfulness that you can bring into your life. By mindfulness, I don't mean super woo-woo hippie stuff. If you have that association, just sort of slowing down a bit where you can become aware of your thoughts and breathe and bring them back to a more neutral place. Like right now I can hear birds outside. That's really nice. I have a little kitty visiting me back there, who is not my cat. He's a free-range cat that visits me. What else? I'm just finding pleasure in the smaller things. So yoga for me has been really helpful because meditation, like still meditation, where I'm just trying to control my thoughts, which is what I thought it was. But as I'm, asking questions and researching meditation a little bit, I'm learning that it's not just controlling them, it's accepting your thoughts and trying to, bring it back to your breath or whatever you're trying to focus on. And for me, it's really challenging. I have what some call a monkey mind, or, people with anxiety often experience just racing thoughts or intrusive thoughts. And yoga for me is my current practice of mindfulness where I'm able to find just a little stillness. Most mornings I go to a class at 7, and it's been great for flexibility and strength, though I do have a long way to go. It's also just great for quieting the mind. See, even as I talk about it, I feel like I'm slowing down. I missed my yoga class this morning, as I really wanted to start this journal. Being as it is February 1st and my 31st day of benzo reduction, I felt like this was more pressing to do this morning. So what else could I say? Some symptoms besides benzo brain would be shaking, some tremors, racing heart, heart palpitations, numbness in the hands. I'm like, I don't even want to go into all of them because it could be stressful to even hear about them. But these are normal, and it's basically the same symptoms of probably why you started taking benzos, whether it's Xanax or attivan, Valium, klonopin, whatever it is. It's called rebounding anxiety, if you're not familiar with that. Just the return of all those symptoms that you were trying to medicate. And it's not fun, but it's just part of the process. They may be a little bit worse or potentially a lot worse than when you first started initially. This is just temporary while your brain is trying to find homeostasis and return to normal. The chemicals have been messed with for a long time, so they have to rebuild. Your neurotransmitters have to just rewire, and anything you can do to encourage just, acceptance and, just go through the process knowing that, you're not going to die from these symptoms. The body's just trying to figure it out, and it will. So try to remain optimistic. That's what I'm doing, and it's not easy all the time, but we're gonna do this, and I will be here with you every step of the way if this is your process as well. I'll probably report in with any new information every few days, sometimes every day, just to let you know where I'm at, and if I have any insights that I feel like could be helpful for someone else wanting to do the same and be free. I think that's basically it for this morning. Thank you for listening, and yeah.